Hey there, it's Susan Pierce Thompson, and welcome to the weekly vlog. So, the time has come. In this vlog, and in every vlog for the next few weeks, I will be finally sharing with you what is changing at Brightline Eating. I'm going to reveal this in stages for lots of reasons, because if I revealed it all at once, it would be an 1.5 hour vlog. I've never done that before, and you don't want that. But also, the whole Brightline Eating team is working overtime right now to finalize all the details. And there are so many moving parts to it that it would be irresponsible and just unwise for me to share a bunch of plans that aren't quite finalized yet. It would release a lot of confusion into our community if we had to change a detail of it later and then had to say, people are like, well, I thought this was happening. Like, no, we've changed that. Now it's this. No. So until everything's final, I can only share what is known for sure right now. So I'm starting with that this week. I'm going to start at a very high level. I know not everybody prefers to hear the big picture first, but a lot of people do. That's how I think for sure, is give me the big picture first, and then I'll understand where the details fit into the overall picture. So in this vlog right here, I'm going to share the big picture of how the mission of Brightline Eating has recently become clearer and different than what it used to be. So for that, I need a story. What Brightline Eating has been up till now, we can think of this as phase 1 or chapter 1 of Brightline Eating, really the first 7 years of Brightline Eating, has really become something that just evolved over time, mostly through the lens of me, who you've got at the helm here, which is I'm a psychology professor, right? I'm a brain and cognitive sciences professor. And what that means is I've created a bunch of courses. I started off with Brightline Eating 101. We call that the boot camp. And then as those people graduated from the boot camp, I, of course, realized they were nowhere near done with their transformation. And so I created Bright Lifers to take them further. And then as specific needs cropped up, like how do I do the inner work? How do I get back on track after I've slipped? How do I live my fullest life once I want to do, I'm bright and now I want to flourish in the world, Brightline Mind. So Brightline Healing, Brightline Freedom, Brightline Mind, all these courses cropped up afterwards because I'm a professor, right? It's like Brightline Eating 101, Brightline Eating 201, Brightline Eating 205, Brightline Eating 301. And I created a curriculum. And it got very confusing and hard for someone who was just coming into our ecosphere to know what it all was, right? A lot of lingo, a lot of courses, and the model of having a lot of courses like that didn't really serve the best experience of someone needing to come in and do Brightline Eating. Like, the best experience for someone coming in to do Brightline Eating would look like this. Hi, welcome to Brightline Eating. Want to give it a try? And then they come on, and then it's really simple. Now, if people start with the boot camp, it actually probably does feel about like that. But what's wrong with our system is then at the end of the boot camp, right after they've been in for 2 months rather, when their passion and their success and stuff is at an all-time high, we ask them to choose to be in again. They already made that choice. They said, I want to do Brightline Eating, and they're being successful. But then we're like, okay, now you have another choice point. Do you want to do Bright Lifers? Okay, now a few months later, you have another choice point. Do you want to do this course? Okay, now a few months later, you have another choice point. Do you want to do this course? And so for someone saying yes to a lot of those opportunities, first of all, it starts to cost an awful lot of money, right? And it doesn't serve it's not true to their experience. Like, they could still be a yes to Brightline Eating, but now they're watching themselves say no to this thing that's being offered or that. And now because they've said no to this piece, now they they have the experience of they're out of the mothership, they're off the mothership or whatever, even though they're still doing bright line eating. It's just not the right model for someone who wants to have a bright transformation and is doing bright line eating. The right model is a continuous experience where they say, yes, I do want to give bright line eating a try. And then if they're successful at it and they keep liking it, they're just still in, and there's no juncture point where they're out of the community and they need to opt back in, right? That doesn't reflect the experience of someone who's doing it, right? It's not good for them to keep having to do that. So I've been aware of this for years, and the challenge has been that I didn't know how to transition what we had before into a seamless experience. And so that caused me a lot of angst for many years. Like I knew we needed to switch to a membership model. That's what it's called, a membership model. A subscription model, like a gym membership, right? Where you just sign up and then you're in. You know, you get a monthly charge until you're done, until you decide to quit. That's the best model, right? That once you sign up for bright line eating, you're doing it until you decide to quit. That's the model that reflects your lived experience of what you're doing around here, right? But of course, I'm not a business person. I'm a professor, so I created what made sense to me, and then switching it over proved really problematic, right? How do we take all this stuff we've got, all these people doing all these things, and the team of 33 bright line eating team members we've got, and how do we switch it all over? So this has been part of my personal, angst-filled moments for the last several years. Kind of, kidding, not kidding. It's been pretty hard thinking about what to do about all this. And now I want to share with you what happened on August 31st. I was minding my own business, sitting at the kitchen table with my sweet husband, David. We were eating breakfast. It was 9 a.m, and the kids were still sleeping. It was summer. And as we were sitting there, I think he was on his computer. I was just kind of eating. And then as if what it felt like is if it felt like it was being revealed to me, or like it was just suddenly there in front of my eyes, the structure of what would work, like how to switch everything we had before into a very simple membership that people could just join and then be in. And as I started to think about it, you can see my eyes rolling up in my head because I was kind of like seeing it, right? A voice said to me, "Go get a pad of paper, sweetie. This is really good. You got to write this down. You don't want to lose this. This is it." So I ran into my office. I grabbed a yellow legal pad and I got a pen, and I sat at the kitchen table, and I'm not kidding. In 10 minutes, I had a full yellow legal pad filled, single spaced, whoosh, with the structure, with what to do, how it all would fit in. And I looked at it, and then I handed it over to David wordlessly, and I just handed it to him. And then he took a few minutes to look at it. And he said, "This is good. This would work." I said, "I know." And that, my dear one, my friend, is what has turned into the bright line eating team working a whole lot of hours to get everything switched over and ready for you. And the date that you need to know is November 16th. November 16th. Now, the point of this vlog right here, is to share with you the mission. And don't ask me in the comments what happens on November 16th. Remember at the beginning I told you it will all be revealed vlog by vlog by vlog when we have the details finalized. I have the date finalized. That's why I shared it with you, November 16th. The details are not yet finalized. So give me a moment. And I know that might make you mad, but I'm just trying to be responsible. I can't share stuff that isn't decided on yet because if we have to change it later, it'll just create mass confusion. So you got to work with me. But here's what I know. I have been very confused for a long time. I don't know if confused is the word, or really ambivalent, like oscillating, like back and forth, like torn, not sure about what I wanted Bright Line Eating to be. Like, because I see it different ways. Like, I really love the small, tight-knit community we have in Bright Lifers, and I love our small, tight-knit team. Our team of 30-ish people is like a family. And I've heard that when you get above 50 employees, it doesn't feel like a family anymore. Not everybody can know everybody, and it just doesn't feel like a family. And I've been worried about, like, what if it gets too big? And David and I kind of like just sort of, I don't know, the way it's been has been fine, right? So part of me has been kind of like, well, just leave it the way it is. Like, it's fine the way it is. Just keep doing this. And then I've got another part of me that thinks that's not the mission. That's not the mission. The mission is to grow. The original mission was anyone, anywhere who really wants to lose all their excess weight and keep it off and is willing to do what it takes to make that happen will have access to a roadmap that works. And then at some point I noticed that there was no way to measure anyone anywhere. Like, how do you know that you've achieved that? Like, when I asked myself the question, how would I know that I achieved that? The answer was, I never would. Like, there'd be no way to tell. That's a ridiculous statement. Anyone, anywhere, who wants, there's no way to tell. So we changed it to 1 million at goal weight by 2030. At first in the Bright Line Eating book, the first Bright Line Eating book, it's at 1 million at goal weight by 2040. And then I was talking with a friend by the San Francisco airport a few years ago. This was a while ago, 2016, I think. And she said, you can't say by 2040. That's just too far away. Nobody can picture that. That's meaningless. Make it 2030. And so I did. So we started saying 1 million at goal weight by 2030. And in this vlog right here, I am here to announce that the mission of Bright Line Eating has been revised from that. First of all, we don't talk a lot about goal weight anymore because we've noticed that people focusing on a number is not helpful at all. And the notion of goal weight is really inaccurate because bright bodies ebb and flow, and there's no particular number that represents maintenance, really. I mean, my weight, it ebbs and flows, right? Like, so if you're fixated on a number and you're thinking if you're not that number, you're not doing it right or something, it's just a horrible way to think about it. It's the wrong concept, and it creates all kinds of angst and mental ill health, like just improper fixation in our community. So we don't talk about goal weight as much anymore. That's why. But we talk about bright bodies, and we talk about the transformation. We talk about the maintenance stance, right? And so, you ready for the new mission? Drum roll, please. The new mission of Bright Line Eating is 1 million bright transformations by 2025. By 2025, because here's the deal. We don't need till 2030 to get there. We don't. We're getting there, and we're getting there fast. And the reason I can say that is that I'm at the hub of what we do here. Like, the signs, they pour in, and they pour into me. Like, I see things, I hear things in the community, and the net effect on me is, what are those things called? The sticks that are shaped like a T and you hold them to find water, the divining rod or something like that, and it starts to vibrate when you're close to water. I don't even know if this is true. I've heard of such things. Anyway, this thing vibrates, right? And I'm telling you, the divining rod is vibrating. Like, it's really vibrating. Some sweetheart out west read the Bright Line Eating book, lost 150 pounds, and just started talking about it on her TikTok channel. And just in September of this last year, the first book, Bright Line Eating, that was published way back in 2017, in March of 2017, sat in the top 10 of all books on Amazon all these years later, 4 years later, 4.5 years later, like up there with the top books that out of all books, I'm not talking about in a category, the top 10 out of all books on Amazon. That book didn't reach the top 10 of all books on Amazon when it was published. It only reached, I think, number 54 at the height. The second book, the cookbook, got into the top 3, but the first book didn't even break the top 10. And that's not the only, there are things happening here that are just palpable. There's an energy that's palpable. And unless someone's starting above 400 pounds, we see examples of people getting down to maintenance in 1.5 years who have like 200 pounds to lose. So if you think about how things go viral in online and how things explode when they explode, basically to get 1 million bright transformations by the end of 2025, December 31st, 2025, we just need to have 1 million serious people starting this in 2024. And I'm sorry, but that's happening. That's doable. That's possible. So 1 million bright transformations by 2025. Now, there's more. There is more. After I wrote all that on that legal pad, I got catapulted into a 2-week period of time where that experience I had of seeing the sort of structure come together in 10 minutes, I had things like that coalescing in my mind all the time for 2 weeks. And I filled up about 1.5 journals just writing and writing and writing it down. And a second mission came out of that time. This is very similar to when, I don't know if it was God telling me this. That's what I believe. I believe it was God telling me this back in my morning meditation. You've probably heard this story. January 26th, 2014. I was minding my own business, meditating at 5 a.m. And I got this booming mandate, write a book called Bright Line Eating. And I'd never heard the words Bright Line Eating before. To my knowledge, no one had. They came already prepackaged as a mandate. Write a book called Bright Line Eating. And something like that happened again during these 2 weeks. And it was, you got to get global obesity rates trending down by 2030. Now, that's not me. That's us. That's not just us, actually. It's a global consortium, an alliance, because getting global obesity rates trending down by 2030 is an international job, because China and India right now that's where obesity rates are skyrocketing the fastest, in China and India. So this is not a Bright Line Eating project. This is a mobilize international agencies, governments, NGOs, companies, healthcare systems type project. And I'm going to be very involved in that in the years to come. And many of you will be too. I know there's physicians watching here. There's all kinds of people who watch this vlog. And I know because some of you reach out to me. You hear me? That's our job. We got to get global obesity rates trending down by 2030. Because here's the deal. We can no longer afford, none of us, nobody. I'm not talking about in Bright Line Eating. I'm talking about nobody on this planet. We can no longer afford to sit back and just keep watching these statistics pour in as global obesity rates keep marching up unabated and sit while the narrative is diets don't work. There's nothing that can be done about this. And just let it keep happening. We cannot afford it. We can't afford it personally. It's horrible. Your knees hurt. There's inflammation. The medications start coming. COVID, right? Obesity is an independent risk factor for COVID. Don't get me started. The stats on that are so strong. The number one thing we can do to reduce COVID is to get that excess weight off. And like pronto. We cannot afford to watch our kids gain weight at the rates they are. They are heading for early diabetes and blindness and leg amputations, limb amputations in their 30s. We cannot afford to sit back and believe the lie that there is no sustainable way to lose weight. We also in Bright Line Eating cannot afford to believe that we're the only place that sustainable weight loss happens. It's happening in other places too, and we need to band together. There's many routes up the mountain, many routes down the mountain. We need to band together and get global obesity rates trending down by 2030. You with me? So, more will come in the future on what you can do about that. For now, I'm just putting the stake in the ground with you. We're just going to say, right here, right now, we're going to make it so. But the how is coming. And that piece I'll be sharing in vlogs in 2022 and so forth. For right now, I just need you to know that David Thompson and I have decided what's happening with this mission, and we're not staying small. Bright Line Eating is going to grow to meet its original destiny, which was anyone, anywhere who really wants to get that excess weight off and is willing to do what it takes will have access to a roadmap that works. There's a lot to be done toward that because right now Bright Line Eating does not work for everybody. Lots of people do regain weight around here, certainly at rates that are far less than other approaches, but people regain weight around here. We still have people who are experiencing the brain blocking them from losing weight. Not everybody gets free right away and stays free, right? You know that if you're looking around, if you're paying attention, you know that. And there are success rates around here that I have never seen anywhere else and that are really worth celebrating. So there's a lot to be done. And the mission of Bright Line Eating has changed. We are standing together as a movement to have 1 million bright transformations by 2025 and to work with people far and wide, globally, in the United States, beyond, globally, to see that global obesity rates trend down by 2030. Because anything else would be irresponsible. We can't afford it. Not personally, not financially, not in terms of health, not in terms of well-being. And mostly what we stand for here is we cannot afford to have so much human potential trapped underneath that weight. We cannot afford to have the people who have the talent and the creativity and the genius on this planet thinking about how they're going to start their 4th diet this year. Because half the people that are obese, at least in the United States, they're actively trying to lose that weight all the time, and they're trying 4 or 5 new attempts each year. And that is a waste. It's a waste of human focus and human potential. We can do better. And we will. Together. We got this. So the mission of Bright Line Eating has changed. And next week, I will share with you the next installment. And that's the weekly vlog. I'll see you next week.